Shalom. Okay, video for today, we're still on the topic of gang stalking. So I'm going to look at this from an open perspective as far as trying to be fair, even looking at it from their point of view. So I'm going to try to be fair to them, and I also ask them to be fair to us who are going through this experience. So what is gang stalking? This is going to be done without any accusations. Just an open discussion. And I'm asking, what is gang stalking really? Because everything is all about an experience and a perspective. From what it appears to be, an evaluation. And we must keep that in mind. Those people are being targeted. Of course, there's an evil aspect to it, and there are evil people. But that goes without saying with any people. It doesn't even have to be about targeting. These people are good and bad. That's just the balance of it. So, that being said, I ask questions when I see, because of course, people that are being targeted from one reason or the other, or you have this experience. You see certain things, you're aware of certain things. So from my perspective, I ask questions, and it may seem silly. Like I was in a grocery store today, or Aldi's, and there was a line. There's a line at Aldi's, and then they have certain lines that are closed, and they have one that's highlighted in green. That's to say, come to this line. And that was the only line available. I reserve all rights to go to any line I want to without being hypothecated, because I have the right to use any service on this land, because I'm Aboriginal indigenous here. All rights reserved perpetually, exercising rights at all times. But I think that line said, if I have it right, it said, join the community. That within itself seems harmless, but through the experience of gang stalking, it makes one leery of everything. So I asked the question. I said, do I have to join the community to come to this line? Since you have that highlighted here, of course it's not. But that's just a question I asked, because I like to ask questions to make sure that I get full disclosure of everything that I do. Because I'm not going to give up my rights for anything. And then there was this one gentleman there, and then people talk about Freemasons all the time. So I asked him, I said, "Are you a Freemason?" He said, "No." I said, "I'm not trying to be disrespectful or anything. I'm just asking a question because researching and listening to different things and topics. So I just like to ask questions. That's all." So from that standpoint, what is gang stalking? Because I've seen some people that, of course they were out today. They were, following you around and sending innuendos through messages that's on their vehicles and different things like that. And also, it's not one nation of people that's doing it. There's multiple nations of people that's involved in this, and it's a possibility that the gang stalking could take on different meanings. I'm just saying, from the standpoint, there could be some out there that really dislike you, and there could be some that wants to recruit you because they actually admire you and want you to be a part of what they're doing. So you can be targeted for success, You can be targeted for bad faith actions. You can be targeted for many reasons. So I don't believe gang stalking is one particular method of doing things. Like you watch a football game, they use targeting a lot. We're targeting this player for our team. We're targeting this receiver. He received the majority of the targeting from the quarterback because we threw him the ball a lot. So from that standpoint, this targeting can take on many different measures. So I'm trying to look at this from a perspective that it has many meanings, and all of it is not negative. That's what I'm getting out of it. All of it is not negative. You have open up your horizon to see everything. Of course, I don't know everything about it because I don't run it or I don't operate in it. I don't do anything like that. But just from what I'm seeing and what I'm evaluating about it, I think everything about it is not negative from the standpoint of why they're doing it. Now, from the standpoint of those being targeted, of course, it's a negative effect and don't make you feel good. It don't make you feel welcome. It don't, it appears all negative. And then from the Most Highest point of view, I believe, it's a test that He's allowing to see who you are in Him and to develop you in Him. So, like I always say, there's some good people and there's some bad people. And it's all about perspective. I'm just speaking of what I believe it to be. I don't know what it is in its totality. I just know that when I ask the question, do I have to be a part of this community? Of course, I'm already a part of the nation that I'm from, my nationality. I cannot be separate from that because that's who I am. Now, from the standpoint of all the nations, yeah, of course, I welcome the righteous, the set-apart nations. Those who want to do right. I welcome those. But as far as the standpoint, from my point of view, from watching everything that's going on, when you say the community, and then you have they call gang stalking community. This is basically just on research. No accusations. I'm just saying this is on research. Community-based policing. That's what it's called. It's official name, I believe. Where they have the community to watch you, stalk you, follow you, just do all kind of things. So then, like I said, I don't know the full aspects of it. I know the negative aspect from how it makes you feel and how it treats you and all these different things. But also, it's probably a situation too to see what your character is and what you're made of and what is your true intentions and different things of that nature. So that's why I say, as I know better, I do better, and that's why I'm learning according to the laws of the land, the different things and the rights and different things like that. All of my actions is in good faith, based on what I know. First of all, from the Most High, He told me I'm free already. But then they already acknowledged that certain things are, for the most part, all debt is already discharged and settled. They've acknowledged all these things, mortgages, registrations, licenses, and if I'm not lying, because this is documented. Also, Article 6 and Article 4, Section 1 says all the same things. And then also in one of their documents where they acknowledge all these things from their head and their chief, they said that the so-called African American, and that's actually a color of law term under the 14th Amendment, but they say the actual so-called, and what I'm saying, this is all through knowledge and education that I've learned. I didn't know this before, so I'm not coming from an arrogant point of view. I'm not coming from a bigoted point of view. I'm coming from what I learned, what they stated on the documentation on the record, that the so-called, and this is not taken away from my and that's not even their true origin. Hispanic, all these different terms, that's not really their true nationality either. But I can't speak for them. But that's just my overstanding. You know, because they basically, under the color law, they basically subjugated and hypothecated a lot of people under different colorable terms. And when I say they, I don't mean all people. So I'm talking about the ones who did it. So that's what I mean by that. When I say they, I'm not accusing certain people just because you're from that nation. I'm not accusing everybody from, because everybody don't even know what I'm talking about. So, but I am speaking from my point of view, from my nation's point of view. That's not to put, everybody else's nation has already spoken for them. And nobody seems to have a problem with that, and I don't have a problem with that either, for speaking for them. They have the right to say what they want to say, but I'm speaking for what I've learned to be true, based on what has already been determined, acknowledged, that the so-called African Americans, who are the true Israelites, they called us Moorish, meaning our dark skin, also the copper colored people, all these different type of things. And I'm not even offending Israelis when I say I'm an Israelite, because that's recorded as well. You look at, they've even said it. Their leaders, they even acknowledged it. So I'm not downgrading anybody. But like I said, if you look at the etymology dictionary, it states specifically in there. It says Israeli, who those people are, and it says for comparison, look up Israelite. That's the online etymology dictionary. So I didn't write any of that. That's documentation that I had to look up and learn. So I'm just sharing information. That's all I'm doing. It's documented. Also, I wasn't around in 1828. I didn't write that Webster dictionary. I didn't write that. But the man Webster, which I don't know, wrote that in the dictionary. He said the Aboriginal copper-colored people that was found by the Europeans, found here on this land, Turtle Island, North America, Americas, on this land. He wrote that. I did not. Then I looked up the term originally, and basically was just saying the first inhabitants, different things like that. So look it up yourself to see if it's true what I'm saying. Also, they said that all of the land, the soil, the property, all of the gears that was created without our knowledge has been returned under the authority of the American nationals, which are the so-called African Americans on this land, the Aboriginals, which are the creditors. And the creditor said that we have the right to service, right to money, right to the money or something else. Look that up. See if I'm saying it's true. 1828 Webster Dictionary. So all of my actions is based on what I've learned and what has been determined. I'm not fighting anyone. I'm not robbing or stealing from them. That's why I ask all the questions I ask. and it's been determined on the record that I have not done any of those things. I'm not trying to hold on to something that is not mine by right, because I already told them too, I don't want anything that's not mine by right. But it's been determined that it is mine by right. But there are some who don't want me to have that. I don't want us to have that as a nation. What is ours by right, which has already been determined and given back to us. I have not committed any crimes. I will not commit any crimes. Also, the rights of indigenous people said that we have the right to these everything I'm saying that I'm talking about right now. And if somebody did want us to move, then they have to provide finance to a location of our choice. And we should be in a safe environment. We should not be genocided. We shall not be hypothecated, personated, subjugated, subrogated, none of those things. And I do not give anybody the right to do any of those things, because I have the right to be in my proper person. That's what I am, and I've proclaimed who I am. I'm not a terrorist. I'm not a bandit. I'm not a color of term, Negro, black, colored, none of those things, which are under the color of law. So, the subject of gang stalking and what it is. So I'm just trying to have an open discussion as far as a comment of why I said that I choose not to be part of the community from that standpoint, because I choose not to be part of a community program that harms others. That's what I mean by that. I choose not to be a part of that, because I know how it makes me feel, and I don't want to make anybody else feel that way. So, shalom, until the next video.